I'm back on the Stage1 Suncoupe after a little bit of a hiatus for a few months. Of course, we're a month and a half away from McCacken, and I finally am able to get to a point where I can start the car again. If you remember from the last video, we had pulled the carburetor off and sent it to a specialist. He found that basically the air horn was warped into a taco, and he did his best to straighten it out. He did run it on his own car and it ran well, so at least we know that it has the capability of doing the job. I sent the booster away to be plated at brakeboosters.com over in California. Mike Gibbons does a really nice job on that stuff. It's the correct upside down Delco stamp booster, and I do have to do something about this lid, but we'll take care of that later. Right now I want to make sure the car gets running and running well, and I want to get it out into the rocks and just kind of do a general power wash of the thing because it's still covered in farm dust. Let's get started. Oh, I'm Adam, Antique Automotive Service. So as far as I know, everything should be ready to rock to start the car. Yeah, something like that. I've got any vacuum lines that are open are plugged. Yep. And oh, when I pulled this master off, I'll back up. When I got the car, it had terrible brakes, and it was literally like pedal went almost to the floor, and it finally caught. And I said, well, that sucks, but that's pretty typical of the cars that come in here. So I pulled the master off to get the booster sent off, and if you're not familiar, there's a rod that actuates the master cylinder, and it has to match the master cylinder. So the master cylinder had a deep cup, but it had a short rod in it. So there was about 1.25 inches of play before it actually hit the booster or hit the master. So I got Mike to send me a long rod with the booster, and this will be the first time I press the brakes since then. So let's see if this thing starts. Hopefully the battery's not dead. So far it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Kicked into high idle, then I kicked it down, and it's managed. So far so good. It feels a little sloppy, but not too bad. It was running a little fat off the choke. Might have to adjust that just a touch, but it seems to be happy now. Still on high idle. You can see all this dirt and stuff that needs to come off. I mean, all this stuff's impossible to clean out unless you just power wash it out. No fuel leaks. I mean, so far this thing is really happy. Alright, I've got it kicked down a little bit, and it's not super happy right now. See if I can that responded a little bit. I'm adjusting the idle mitch screws right now. I really shouldn't be totally screwing with them, but I can't get the car to stay running right. Awfully shaky. Put my hand over the carburetor, and it acts like it's got a vacuum leak or something. Smells like it too. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell on the video, but it smooths out quite a bit when I choke it a little bit. Oh boy. Right now I'm just kind of pinching off a few hoses to see if I can make a difference in the idle quality. To see if there's a vacuum leak somewhere. Nothing yet. Alright, so here's a test. I mean, this thing's still not super happy, but I want to put it in gear and see what it does. Also allow me to test the brakes. Hey, we have a pedal. Alright, here we go. Neutral. Drive. Yeah, it is not happy. Not happy. So if it's happier when it's choked, it means there's too much air getting in or not enough fuel. I have a tendency to believe that it's too much air. But where do we start? Last minute thought on this. Customer was complaining of some shifting point issues. It was shifting too high. I thought maybe the modulator might be bad, so I capped it off. I do want to test that modulator though. I want to see if it holds vacuum. Okay, modulator held vacuum. I just took this port off and put a piece of vacuum hose on it and sucked on it, and it held. So there's that. What was I gonna do? I don't remember. I'm really concerned that there's something internally wrong with the carburetor, like we've got a mismatched upper and lower section, or I don't know. I haven't checked to make sure these were snug. They're fine. Seems to be responding quite a bit to these idle mixtures. Seems to like a lot. Yeah. The throttle response is good. Bring the idle down. That screw is loose. Huh. Maybe that's all it took was just the idle mixture. Sure seemed like they were turned out quite a bit. Still a little shaky, but I don't know what kind of cam this thing has in it. Okay, I'm gonna see what it feels like with this thing in gear. Reverse. It sure doesn't like reverse. Maybe the transmission fluid level is low. Just seems like it's luggy. Just doing a little brake torque on it to see how it feels. Well, I mean, it's not smooth as glass, but you can kind of see the engine's a little shaky, but it's not changing idle like it was if I gave it a bunch of if I gave it a bunch of choke. So I'm gonna hold off on doing anything else right now on this thing. I'm gonna move this wood, get the car outside, and throw a power washer on it. All right, I lied. I'm gonna try one more thing. It sounds to me, it feels like it's retarded. So I'm gonna make an attempt to get to the distributor bolt, or unless it's already loose. Nope, not loose. Can't see the stupid air pump. Right now, with no vacuum advance, it's set at like 12-ish. I'm not entirely convinced that that's what it wants. Hopefully that's enough to turn it. Oh yeah. This hook will work just fine. We'll keep it out of the way. Start your engines. Right now it's at 11. Let's see what it likes here. Now that's 35, which is way too much. I wonder if we go back to stock is like 10 degrees. Shit, well. That's where it was originally, really. That is stock. I'm going to make sure that distributor doesn't turn accidentally. I might be a little bit happier there. I mean, that's not much. A couple of degrees. Okay. And I feel like I like that a little bit more. One more time, air-fuel ratio. I'm going to check the dwell on this thing too. You just never know on stuff that you've never worked on before. It might be set pretty terribly. See if I remember how to work this thing. Negative side of the coil and ground. Whoop. Whoa. That's way off. It says 17. It needs to be at 30. I don't even know how it's running. I don't know if I can do this by hand with one person or not, but I'm going to give it a shot while it's running. Okay, if you guys are familiar with Buicks, then you know that this fan is not your friend when you're adjusting points. So let's see if I can get one hand. Doing both of these. Then I can adjust the points with the other hand. No. I went the wrong way. You can tell that it... Gotta love Buicks. Okay, points adjustment. Take 2. All right, they were at like 17 or 19. I turned it by hand before I started the engine just a little bit to see where I'm at. I'm at 23 and a half. $30 right there, and you can see that the idle has gone down significantly. So if you change dwell, you're going to change the timing inadvertently, so you have to go back and change the timing after you change the dwell. So always set dwell first and then timing. Now where are we at with timing? We are at 3 degrees, so I need to advance it. Let me get rid of this knuckle killer, and then I can reset the timing. Let's get back to our 10-degree setting. Starts up nice. All right, so we need to be at 10 degrees. Set your dial at 10 degrees. Vacuum advance should be plugged, but I'm not getting any vacuum advance right now. At least I don't think. I'll double check. Nothing. Okay. Now I'm going to come back and check this stuff up here. It still likes more fuel at idle. We're still a little shaky on the engine, but it's way better. I like it so far. All right, I'm gonna clean all this crap up, pull everything off, get this car moved out of here. Got these wheel skates from Titan Lifts at McCacken a couple years ago, and they are the bomb. I don't know how I ever did anything without them. They're just such a good tool to have. Let's see. Kind of tough when it gets tight over here on the edges, but I basically on this car, or on the cars that I've got on the sides back over here and that side, I've got to pull them in at an angle where the front tires were going to be, and then I swing the ass over. I always just kind of want to make sure your front corners are in good shape too, so you're not clipping anything when you swing. That noise is the front tires. And just put it down where you want it. I brought my full set of those to McCacken last year, and I thought I'd never get them back. Hey, I've got brakes. That's all I need right there. Oh, I'm missing a door handle on this side. I guess I'll add that to the list. Close these windows. That sounds terrible. No leaks. Okay, I'm not looking to peel paint or anything. I just want to kind of rinse all this dirt off of here. I just covered up the carburetor to keep the big stuff out. Really, I just want to rinse this thing. Stuff where I can't get a rag into. This makes it a lot easier. Like I said, I'm not looking to get crazy on this thing. I just want to rinse it off. I am doing a full paint correction on this thing, so I don't need to worry about water spots on the paint, but I'm going to dry it off anyway. Probably going to find some new leaks on this thing. Okay, I got all the big pieces off. I'm just going to water blade everything, all the big water off. Yep, leave it on the vinyl top. It helps to get all the extra stuff off. I want to get this dried off before it really sets in with the water spots. I just don't like them, no matter if I'm still going to polish the paint or not. Just like to avoid them. This car is pretty gross. All right, now I'm just going to go across it with microfiber and call it good for now. Okay, it's not perfect, but at least we got most of the scuzz off. You know, it still just needs a wipe down, hard wipe down, but it gives me a good starting point. We've still got a lot of work left in here to do as far as getting vacuum lines routed for this cruise control, getting that master cleaned up, and all that. A bunch of little authenticity issues too. So let's get this thing shut, and I gotta move a car or two. I'm gonna take it for a drive real quick. Well, I've got you hooked in here. Check this car out. It's a 1962 Oldsmobile Dynamic 88 convertible. Original paint. Absolutely awesome to see a car this well preserved. It is just, I wouldn't say flawless, but pretty darn near. Trunk is in the same condition. Top is original. Original top, original paint, original interior. I think the engine has been painted, but anyway, I just wanted to show you that. It's a really neat car. Drives just as well as it looks. All right, back to it. Start right up. Yep. I have to put the camera down so I can get this thing going. I don't really want to beat on it, but I think I'm going to have to. There's a customer states that the shift points are too high. Does seem a little high so far, but that's part throttle. That wouldn't have anything to do with the governor. It's all modulator. so good. We're at 2,400 RPM at 60 miles an hour. Just kind of let this thing warm up a little bit. Once I turn around, I'll get on it. This thing almost feels like it's not hitting on all cylinders until it gets higher in the RPMs. It just feels like it has a dead miss. Might be a wire or a bad connection or something in a wire. Or maybe it's just the nature of the cam. I have no idea what's in this engine. Alright, here we go. Tach is a little jumpy. The speed alert works. See if I can watch the tach. Yeah, I think we hit a little over 4,500 RPM there, which is, we're in good shape there. Yeah, the tach is a little jumpy, but I don't know if it's worth pulling the thing out and sending it out to have it redone or not. It seems to read pretty accurately. Well, I gave it a couple more zips, not from a stop, but from 30, 40 miles an hour, and it seems to be happy. I'm just I'm going to take it back and see how we are on idle. With the way this thing feels like it's got a little bit of a miss, or a dead miss really, when it's idling and just above idle. Okay, here's where we're at. I checked every wire for fire, and everything's there, and it does seem to be idling a little bit better, so maybe it just needed a little bit of a hard run. Exhaust note sounds good. Still a lot of work to do on this thing. Like I said, lots of little authenticity issues and clean up. Yeah. And then on the inside of the car, there's some electrical issues. The power seat works, but it doesn't go anywhere. So I'm guessing maybe a belt or something. And then I've got AC switch. Nothing. The fan doesn't even work. I think this whole switch is kind of foobar right here. And yeah, I don't know. See what the radio does. Sweet, radio works. I know the defrost works. Hey, horn works. Cool. So we're on our way. The brakes do feel great now that I've got the right rod in there. Power windows are a little slow, but we're not going to work on that until we really know we have time to work on it. Anyway, getting there. Month and a half to McCacken. Before I do any paint correction or anything like that, I want to make sure I get all of the other random little things done, so that if I'm leaning over fenders or opening doors and whatnot, I don't do any damage to the paint afterward, because I do have some scratches and stuff to fix over on that side. But other than that, we're in good shape. So anyway, all right, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got as much closure as I did on this, making sure it ran right, and I had a good time doing it. So until next time, I appreciate you watching. I'll see you later.